Welcome to part true. Oh.
This is the true part, not the fake part. It's the true part.
Welcome to part 2 of our writing tag Camp NaNoWriMo edition. Also a drinking game. I'm finished my glass of wine. Erin, how are you doing? Not well. Erin is behind. Please check out part 1 before you watch this part.
I had more than you did. To be honest, yeah.
Maybe.
I had a glass before you.
Don't spoil it for the viewers.
Sorry.
Okay, go check out part 1, and if you already have watched part 1 and now you're here, thanks. Okay, here you go. Video is starting in 3, 2, 1. Wait, is this your question or my question?
You asked that to me.
Okay, so this is your question. Whoopsies!
I'm gonna need more wine if you wanna be
yes.
a doll. Oh, I just smelled it.
Erin!
See my bruise?
Oh my god.
It really hasn't gotten
Erin's been injured during this trip.
I was drying myself with a towel.
That's okay. I literally broke my wrist because I fell. Like an old person. I fell and I broke my wrist.
My hip!
I just slipped behind me, caught myself, and broke my wrist. It still makes a noise though. Can you hear that?
I can barely hear that. Okay. Okay, what is your biggest obstacle with writing?
I've thought about before, and I love asking people this, even though it's super personal. Like, you know the 7 deadly sins?
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to ask people or to think about which one is affects me the most. Like which is your worst 7th deadly sin? Mine's definitely
All of them?
I'm affected by all of them.
Yes. Okay.
Except greed because I don't really care.
Yeah, you're not greedy.
Thanks. Mine's biggest obstacle is definitely the sloth. And so my biggest obstacle, sadly, is myself. Like, I'll sit down to write and I have all these distractions and it's just really hard. And behind those distractions, obviously I love writing, but I mean, there is an element of fear. I feel like fear plays the biggest role in any reason you avoid anything in that kind of obvious state. And so I have this desire, I go to write, and even though I've told myself a million times, your first draft is crap, your first draft is crap, your first draft is crap, I still have this, desire to want to write, these beautiful sentences that just come out flowing and, is gorgeous and changes the world.
Beautiful.
And so it's taken a lot. I am, a quarter of the way through my book, and I still struggle with telling myself over and over again it's okay to write crap because crap makes the best fertilizer, for your second draft. I don't know, as soon as you accept that you are the reason, that you're your biggest obstacle, you're the reason, blah, 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 it is easier to overcome, but it is a daily struggle still.
Yeah.
But I got better just by telling myself, just write something every day. It could be a sentence, it could be a word, just do something. And that really catapults this, you realize you feel good when you do something, and you realize one day you write a sentence and the next day it's easier to write a paragraph and then it's easier to write blah blah blah. And so I can feel myself I'm writing faster just by letting go of those
That's
fears.
awesome.
Yeah. It took a long time. I mean, I've been writing like this since October when I stopped working at insert name here. And back then, I was dedicating hours and hours and hours to just sit down and write, and I would write maybe a paragraph. It'd be a huge struggle. And now I just will spend 10 minutes a day and I can write a couple pages. I mean, that's an exaggeration. I mean half an hour a day and I can write a couple pages. And so it's and that's 10 months ago, so it's taken a long time to get to this point, but yeah.
Good closing. Good answer.
Do what works for you. For me, I had to make it gradual in order for me to have any kind of real lifestyle change, and this is for everything. I have to do it gradually. I can't just one day, that's why NaNoWriMo, honestly, it's a cool idea, but it didn't really work for me, and that's because I need to work myself up to it so I can make sure that it's a daily habit instead of just being inspired for a week and then quitting.
And you put so much pressure on this,
and it becomes not fun. And at the end of the day, our first question, why do you write? Because we love it, and not because NaNoWriMo tells us we have to.
Yeah.
So that's why I love Camp NaNoWriMo. I'm a huge fan because you set your own goals, and if you're realistic with yourself with those goals, you'll always win. Except I didn't, but I don't care because I love it. Next question. What do you feel was the most accurate or favorite book to movie transition that you've seen.
I'm not gonna go with the most accurate, but I'm gonna go with my favorite because it's probably one of the most recent ones I've seen, and it's not a movie, so I'm changing the answer.
You're
a little
ruining
bit.
this whole question. You wrote it.
I'm gonna have to say because I've seen it recently. I'm gonna have to say Sherlock, and
I have not read or seen. I'm the worst.
You haven't read or seen?
Read or seen?
You haven't read or seen the Sherlock? I've read all of Doyle's Sherlock Holmes.
See, you're a way better reader than I am. Like, you've read way more books.
I don't know.
You've read better books. Have you read 50 Shades of Grey?
I haven't.
See.
When the most recent season of Sherlock came out, I just binge watched through all of them, and I fell in love with the first couple seasons, and I know that there's like critique on like the last couple because they're not really as accurate to the books, but I love Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. So.
I saw Dr. Strangelove. Keep going.
But he has an American accent in that. It kind of takes away the whole Cumberbatch thing. He's British!
Oh, I'm bad. Naughty! Naughty!
Yeah, naughty. But besides that, the writing is fantastic, and it's...
I know people love it.
Yeah, and it's set to modern times.
I just love Murder, She Wrote. I can't go to another murder mystery.
I know. But
I need my female detectives. Nancy Drew's ruined me.
Robert Downey Jr., he was good, and...
He's American.
Yes, he is, and he plays a British Sherlock. His character didn't really hold true to the real Sherlock. I felt, and
but you still thought it was the best.
Sure, the movie I'm saying wasn't as good.
These are different people.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. played the movie version of Sherlock, or one of the movie versions, and Benedict Cumberbatch played the TV show with Martin Freeman.
Don't know who that is.
He's in The Hobbit.
Never
and
seen
like
it.
a lot of other stuff. Not Guardians of the Galaxy, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I'm really bad with movies.
Anyway,
my friends tell me.
So
I thought I was good with movies. I've seen all the Harry Potter many times.
Yeah.
Parent Trap, I can quote the whole thing.
Yeah. Final answer. I'm gonna say Sherlock. It's
the TV show.
What?
I just want to take a moment to plug, even though it's totally unnecessary. There is a Nancy Drew game, like computer game, podcast. These two sisters do. They talk about each game, and they're drinking while they do it. It's
awesome.
Hilarious. Go watch. I'm going to add it down below. It has nothing to do with writing. Nothing. But it is... I listen to every single one, and I'm pretty sure... Like, they don't get many views, so I'm, like, their biggest fan. And they've kind of, like, they answered one of my questions in their podcast, so shout out! Okay.
Why are you writing for the genre and age group that you are writing for?
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
I kind of briefly talked about this with why I write.
Yeah.
So I am writing paranormal. I mean, it's paranormal, but it's got a lot of mystery elements. Like, I hope it has a lot of twists and turns. Because I love mystery. Mm-hmm. I would love to do an adult mystery novel one day. I don't think I'm there yet skill-wise. Uh-oh.
Doubt! Shame.
But, like, that is... I just love Agatha Christie. And, like, Stephen King kind of... His books are, like, horror, but there's, like... I think every book has a mystery element.
Yeah.
Like, you never know the end. Anyway. Yeah, so mine's kind of like paranormal adventure. The age genre, and that's really what I was getting at. Young adult. I chose to do that just because, kind of like the reason I write, you know, I've read books that have really changed my life and, like, have really helped me overcome, you know, moments in my life, blah, blah, blah. And I think that age is when you almost need outside views the most sometimes. Right. And so that's really why I chose to write for young adult versus adult. Just because I think that's when I could make the biggest impact. And also this is, okay, I'm gonna have to take a sip after this, but I would love to have my writing sort of advance with me as I write, kind of like J.K. Rowling. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's
the first thing that I think of.
Yeah. So she started Sorcerer's Stone, very much a children's book. Like, we read it now, our age group, we're like, okay, this is a children's book, but each book advances with age as her skill advances, because Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was her first book, and so she obviously got better. That's kind of what I want to do too. Like, I want to advance. Like, I'd love to write adult fiction one day, but I think I'm going to stick with young adult for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so assuming that you will attempt Camp NaNoWriMo this year, join us campers. I think all my viewers would love that. How would you track your progress? So your question is, how would you track your progress? For those of you watching and want to recreate this wonderful interview, how will you track your progress with Camp NaNoWriMo July edition?
I feel like the best way for me is writing every day for a set amount of time, not giving a length.
So just creating the habit of, okay, for this hour.
Right, just like write as much as I can, whatever comes to mind. Because I feel like if I say like, oh, well, my goal is to write 3 pages or whatever, I don't know, I guess it's really not that different, but I feel like in my mind, I'd be like, oh, I just have to like make words, like I just have to put down words. But if I'm saying like, oh, you have to actually write something in this length of time, I feel like for me...
It'd be more thoughtful and like more...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be crap, but at least it's like, it's something like, oh, well, I can write about what I want to write about in this time, but if I'm saying that I'm counting words or like pages, that it's, I don't know, my mindset would be different.
I like that. I think I'm actually going to move, so I've always been word count, but since my goal is to, I'm answering the question, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Since my goal is to finish by July, I'm going to be definitely more scene focused. So I want to finish this scene, or I want to finish that scene, which is very much what Jenna Moreci does for anyone who follows her on YouTube. She's another writer. She self-publishes, and she does very, very well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, and so she writes every day, and she does it by scene. Like, I'm going to finish this scene, this scene. So she can still keep track of her progress, but it's not focused on word count.
What's her name?
Jenna Moreci.
Jenna
and her
Moreci.
book is Eve the Awakening.
Oh, you have her book?
And you can order signed copy. Links will be below. Yeah,
That's so great.
She signed. Look what she wrote. Okay, I don't know if she writes the same thing in every book, so I don't want to spoil it if she does, but for those of you who are interested, she wrote to me, to Haley, "Thank you for your service in the cyborg army. This book will self-destruct in 5 seconds. That was a lie. Love, Jenna Moreci."
That's cute.
She's really funny. So, yes, buy her book. Erin, how's it going? I got a question for you.
I'm all ears.
What is the worst book you've ever read? I'm so glad I didn't get this question because I don't want to answer it.
I know. I don't even remember who the author was, but I read it like 3 or 4 years ago. And it's probably not even that bad of a book, but I felt like it dragged so much. And I don't even know if anyone's ever heard of it, but it's called Continental Drift. And
Then shouldn't it drag?
It shouldn't drag that much. I don't know. It was just one of those books where
what made it bad? Just the dragging?
The plot was really odd. So, because the writing was good, but the plot and like everything that happened, I mean, it was very depressing. I didn't feel anything that I wanted to feel while I was reading that book, which is, I guess, something that maybe the author was going for, that he wanted something that was disturbing.
Drifty.
Yeah.
What would you give it, like, on Goodreads? How many stars?
I don't want to. I guess 2.
Ooh, girl!
But
Burn.
What do I know? Do you prefer reading on a Kindle, ebook, or using a physical book?
I think physical because I like the smell of it. Physical. But I am not, I appreciate the value of a Kindle and ebook.
Yeah.
Saving paper, easier to transport. When I go on vacation, I take my Kindle always. So I'm not one of those people that's like, I will never read a Kindle.
It's cozy.
They smell musty.
Yeah, the musty.
My Stephen King book right now, it was in my brother's closet, and it's so coated in dust that when I read it, my eyes get dry.
That's what you're going for, so.
If you could jump into any book or series, which would it be?
Oh, man.
Not Jurassic Park.
Darn.
Not Hunger Games.
Not the Hunger Games.
Honestly,
Stalling.
all books seem bad because they're like life or death.
See, I would say Harry Potter because of all the magic, but there's like a lot of serious shit that goes down.
Yeah, but you don't have to be Harry Potter. You could just go to Hogwarts. You don't watch Harry Potter.
I could watch Harry Potter do
and then Battle of Hogwarts comes, you just get it right out there.
See ya.
Gone. Go right down to the Slytherin dungeon and just wait that out.
I feel like that's like the easiest answer to go to.
It's not easy, it's a good one. Because it's a popular answer doesn't mean it's a bad
I know.
one.
But that's, yeah.
Do you want to kill someone?
I think
no,
Narnia would be cool,
The answer is
too.
no. It's the popular answer. It doesn't mean it's a bad answer.
What's the quickest book you remember reading?
If we're talking recent times. Oh, okay. So this isn't like necessarily the fastest I've read a book, but it's the fastest I've read a series. That would be Twilight.
Oh, yeah. Guilty.
Like, yeah.
Guilty.
When I started reading Twilight, I couldn't stop. Other than, like, Harry Potter, when those books came out too, but I, like, read them as they were coming out, so I would, like, read over a couple days, finish it, and have to wait a couple years. But the Twilight series, I started when the whole series was out.
Same.
Yeah, and like, we were kind of reading them at the same time. And I actually I went to Costa Rica while I was reading them, but I still brought Eclipse with me.
Yep.
And it weighed a lot.
Yeah, because when you guys were in Costa Rica, Nikki let me borrow her books, so I went through and I read them.
Yeah.
And I read, like, one a day.
Yeah, like, people criticize Stephanie Meyer for not being the world's best writer. You know, I think there's two components to make a good writer, is how you write and what you write. And what she wrote was just really catchy. Like, maybe she's not going to be a classic, you know, to be read 100 years from now.
It's not considered a classic.
But that girl can do a good story, and it was entertaining and, you know, lighthearted. And I don't think she set out to be the world's greatest author. I think she just had a story in her mind and she told it, and that's all we can ever do. But yeah, I took Eclipse with me, and I had a journal I kept on vacation.
Yeah.
And half of my journal is filled with my thoughts about Eclipse. Instead of, like, Costa Rica and being in this amazing country, I'm just like,
so
I wonder
Edward
if she's going to choose Jacob or Edward. Like, I literally, in the journal, have, like, Bella and Edward in heart circled. Like,
Oh,
in my defense, I was in high school, so... But I probably would still do the same. So that's
you're
the
around
fastest I've read
all
a series.
of Costa Rica, and you're just like, so Edward and Bella are having a fight today.
Yeah. Well, like, people were going on, like, night hikes, and I would skip it so I could read Eclipse. I was in Costa Rica.
Edward would love a night hike.
Alright. What has been your proudest moment with your writing?
Nothing.
You doubt it.
That was a joke.
Doesn't
God,
matter.
Makes you understand my sarcasm. My proudest moment would probably be when I realized that I was a good writer. That's definitely...
Do you, like, remember the moment, or just knowing that feeling?
Well, I remember when I vocalized it, not when I, like, actually realized...
You're talking about the night with me and Zach? Or that wasn't the night?
I honestly don't even remember that.
Anyway.
But no, Zach and I, we were at Sarah's, the restaurant in Wiscasset, and he's like something about, like, you need to accept that you're a good writer, and I'm like, well, I know I'm a talented writer, like, I know that I have a gift or whatever, and he, like, looked at me, like, really surprised, because he didn't expect me to say that, to actually be confident in my writing, and I was like, oh, okay, well, and it hit me that it was like, oh, I've never actually vocalized that I've actually...
That's the first step.
I mean, well, you know me, I'm a very modest person about stuff, and yeah. So it was kind of like, I was like, oh, I don't want to brag about it, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself down and be... Because, like, if you do have a talent or a gift at something, which everybody does, it's like you want to be able to express that with other people. So that was a very proud moment for me, and it was kind of... At first, it was kind of a down moment, because I was like, oh, that's really how, like, it's perceived.
Across,
yeah. And I realized at that moment that I didn't want to be perceived that way.
Well, that's the hard thing, I think, about a writing career, really any career where you're trying to gain success at a skill or a talent. You can't be self-deprecating. Like, you can be to your peers or in a joking form, like on YouTube videos. But at the end of the day, you're trying to sell your talent or your skill. And so, even if you do have hidden doubts, you can't come across that way, and you have to... It's kind of like job interviewing. Like, you have to...
Yeah.
Even, you know, fake it till you make it, you know, pretending that... Or not pretending, but just being more upfront with your abilities, that they're better than average and that you are worth something.
Yeah.
And it's hard, because... For some reason, that's just not a natural instinct that we have in this society anyway. I guess because then, if you're wrong saying you suck, it's a good thing, but if you're wrong saying you're good, it's a bad thing.
Right, because, yeah, saying that you're good at something
you have to prove yourself.
Right, exactly.
But if you're bad, you can kind of just like, people are like, oh,
and then you're
bad.
good, and you're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
You're good, so.
Good answer.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
You've almost elbowed me in the face like 3 times. Can you think of a favorite quote or just a favorite scene from a book?
Sure.
You can't look at that one.
Forever
That's what
and
I was gonna do.
Erin made me this gorgeous art piece that has quotes from really good books, and I'm just going to read one off right now.
Oh my god.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on light. Actually, that's my actual answer. That's not a joke. I have that off. I also have a light switch that says that. I know that a lot of people like that quote.
Yeah.
But that speaks just really in every aspect of every day where you're choosing happiness over fear or whatever. And you know what's really horrible about that quote? I do not remember the scene in the book where
it's not from the book. It's only from the movie.
That's what I thought, because I was going to say I don't remember.
That's why I only wrote Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because it's not from an actual book, it's from the movie. My favorite quote out of that, well actually I like all of them because I picked them, but The Great Gatsby, also one of my favorites. So we beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
That's depressing. Why would that be your favorite?
Because it means so much. I don't know, it's like we fight so hard to get past what...
And you just lose?
The thing is, we'll never stop trying. But it's saying that us or boats, we go against the current and we end up going to the past. It's like history repeats itself.
But we like still push forward.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's like all we can...
Now it's more of an optimist.
All we can do is try to be more than our past or other people's pasts.
See, I read that as like we beat on, but no matter what, we're doomed to be pushed back. So I thought it was depressing.
It could be.
But maybe it's not depressing.
I tried
to focus on the first part. So we beat on. No matter what, even if we're destined to failure, some of us still continue forward.
The thing is, but even if we are doomed to it, I feel like it's optimistic the fact that people still try to be better, even if fate has it that we're not supposed to be.
Okay.
That is depressing in itself, but it's also optimistic. I find it optimistic that people actually try.
Yeah.
Trying itself.
Alright, I'll look at it in a way then. Who would you say influences your writing the most?
Myself. So, like an author?
You can interpret it that way.
Like
who influences your writing style, you can interpret that way. Or maybe who just motivates you to write them. Any way you want to interpret the question. If you want me to channel it, when I first wrote it, I was thinking like, who influences your writing style the most? Like which writer?
Okay, that's what I was gonna go with. Okay, so I have 2, and we just talked about this last night. But 2 people that, well actually, there's really 3. One I didn't talk about last night.
Mysterious.
Jane Austen is one of them, because I find her irony was way ahead of her time, and I think she's a very smart lady, was a very smart lady. And
what a great lady.
Yeah, what a great lady. Dickens, he is very smart, obviously, but his writing, it's more everyday than people realize, and it's it's funny.
It's not very funny.
It's not like you're like, like chuckling the whole thing, like, ha ha ha, this person died. Would you want your books to become a movie?
I feel like the popular, acceptable, cool answer is no, I don't even think about that kind of thing.
No.
I absolutely want my books to become a movie. I think it'd be so cool to visually see something you created and to be able to involve that many people, like to have like actors and movie crew and directors and everything hired, and just to be able to reach that many more people with something that you created from nothing. Like that'd be so freaking cool.
Would you be worried though that it wouldn't be interpreted the way that you wanted? Because this happened with a lot of writers, especially earlier on in their careers.
Yeah, I would definitely like to be really involved, which would probably, like, I think that's sort of some, I don't know.
Because I know that happened with Stephen King.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't just give away my baby and like be like, okay, interpret how you want. I would want to be involved with the script writing. I would like to be talked to about decisions, and I'd like to be talked to about casting decisions.
Yeah.
I love film so much. I used to be a film major myself, and so I just think that would just be another creative endeavor that I'd love to jump into. So that's why I'd want to be so involved. Ideally, I'd love to be a producer, but I think you need money to do that. Hopefully, if my book was going to be converted into a movie, I would be a little bit successful that I could afford to be a producer. And
there you go.
But yeah, I would want to be pretty involved without compromising also. Well, actually, I wouldn't even mind putting writing on hold to do something like that, just because I love film and movies as well. So.
Good answer.
Last question. What is your favorite part of the writing process?
Ooh.
Right? It's a good closing one.
I hate all of it.
Nothing.
I like coming up with a new idea because when I first came up with the idea for my most recent work, it's one of those things where it just kind of like it hit me, and I don't know, you just have like a really good feeling about it, and that moment you just kind of like you get really excited, and that feeling itself is just so powerful.
Yeah.
I also like putting it down, and then that idea creating so many other ideas that you never thought that you even had that you were able to think of. I just think that like being able to see your mind expand in so many different directions, I find is very interesting. Like,
I definitely, to answer it as well, I definitely love the brainstorming part. Like when you first get that idea, and you're like thinking, like it always floods too. Like all of the ideas flood together.
Oh yeah.
And really that feeling when you connect 2 points, or like you figure out a plot hole, like, okay, I know how this part goes, I know how it ends, how do I get it there, and like figuring out that puzzle piece is really exciting. I definitely love outlining the most, which I know a lot of people don't like outlining and like figuring out your book, but I really enjoy that process. I think it's super fun. I read this quote from On Writing Well by William Zinsser, and it was like, above all, a writer hates writing the most, or something like that. Like, it's like the last thing a writer wants to do is write, or along those lines. And I think that's, for the most part, pretty true. Like, obviously there's people who love actually writing, but for me, that's definitely my least favorite part. 'Cause I think I just love creating, and I love seeing the end product. And so doing the hard, nitty-gritty work is not my favorite part. I know it's obviously a necessary part, and that's why I do it. It's very painful.
But I love it.
But yeah, no, I have no problem admitting that that's not my favorite part, the writing. You know, I want to
That's true.
I think I want to be an author. I don't want to be a writer. But no.
Amen.
I think writing when you're really in the zone is really fun, and that's what makes it worth it, and seeing the end product makes it worth it.
But you're obviously not going to do it if you don't have like a passion for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like working out. Like, people love to work out and they love that feeling, but when you're in the moment, it's hard. And like, you don't want to do it and you want to stop, but you know that it's worth it in the end, so you keep going. And that's really, and you love the end product, hopefully. All right, well, that was all of our questions.
Ooh, it only took us like 5 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you would like to play this game with your friends or solo, you know, you don't have to draw it out of the hat. Originally, this was going to be just 10 questions. I don't know what Aaron's doing next to me. Then please feel free to comment down below. I will check it out, and I will tell other people to check it out. Let's get this going. Let's get Camp NaNoWriMo started off with a punch. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more amazing videos. You will be seeing a lot of me, less of her, unless you like really like her, in which case give this video a thumbs up, and maybe she will guest appear in more videos. Also stay tuned. I will be doing Camp NaNoWriMo 2017 July edition starting July 1st, so get ready. See you guys July 1st. Woo! Woo! Or maybe June 30th if I upload the night before. I don't know. I'm so good with schedules. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
That was awkward.